if you look out like 5 years, let's say like 2030, what do you think the world of business and AI tools look like? You mentioned we've already passed the Turing test. We've already gotten to genius level in a few categories. How fast do you think things are still moving? Are we in an early growth phase, or is this like just the tip of the spear here, and we're going to see massive changes 5 years from now?
I think one seismic shift that I'm pushing for, and I think a lot of other good people will want to go this direction, is instead of a few multi-trillion-dollar companies owning and controlling the AI world and having AI assistants that we also that we all pay for, and they use our data that they've collected from all kinds of permissioned and non-permissioned sources. They've augmented their data about us. They have a massive multi-million data points on us. If they use AI to, serve us, but we're really the product, it's a real problem for me. So what I am excited about is the open AI, not open AI, which is now closed AI, but the concept of open source AI that can be locally hosted and that you can run it on your own devices. I actually think that's going to happen. And I think there's a good chance that an ecosystem of millions of entrepreneurs building really cool things on top of distributed localized AI. So instead of central control and central ownership, we end up with a massively distributed future of AI. And that gives humans way more control instead of us being captured by algorithms that other people control and they try to monetize our time and attention. Now we have local AI and we get to design the functionality. So one of the best quotes is, the best way to predict the future is by inventing it. And so if we can start inventing these pieces of distributed AI for your faith, your family, your friendships, your workplace, your citizenship, and helping you be successful at work and outside of work, and then we'll be joining the ecosystem of non-multi-trillion-dollar companies that are trying to own the future. Now, I think the hardest thing to predict is how will Android robots, when they're manufactured and sold by the millions, how will that affect our daily life? I think it's almost impossible to predict, but they can talk, they can walk, they can see, they can talk, they can lift. There's just going to be, Elon's right, there's going to be, probably billions of robots in the future. And maybe we'll each own some and maybe we'll lease them, or who knows. But I think that's the hardest thing to predict, because it will be not just digital devices that we're staring at. It'll be physical robots walking around, driving, talking, doing things. And maybe at our request, we'll have a swarm of robot AIs, not just a swarm of digital agent AIs. So I really can't give a timeline. I think Elon and others, Ray Kurzweil, they're pretty good at timelines. I just kind of have a general sense directionally, and I know what our team is working on right now. So I'm better at predicting 3 to 6 months from now, not 5 or 6 years from now. But I am optimistic.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's why it's a tough question. But I think you've hit on a lot of things that I find fascinating. The universal basic income, I think, is going to have to happen at some point. And if we can build everything we need for humans to survive with robots, including our food sources and things like that, I don't know why people would have to work as much. I think people still will choose to be entrepreneurs and create cool things. And maybe it's more art and play and fun social gatherings and human experiences. But it sounds like you're pretty bullish, though. You think that AGI is going to happen, that these open AIs are going to happen, that true self-driving cars and autonomous robots are going to happen at some point in our lifetime.
I don't really think about AGI or ASI as being real, because a lot of people start imputing consciousness or sentience to those bits and bytes. And I just don't ever think that a digital creation has a human value or human rights or consciousness. So I just don't believe that. But I do think that the AI agents, the robots, the physical and digital will be abundant, and that hopefully humans will actually be ultra creative and ultra productive and ultra prosperous. And so I again, we're trying to create a future that we want. there will be people creating futures we don't want. And hopefully
Yeah.
enough of us can resist the central control of government or trillion-dollar corporations. We don't want them to continue to grow in power. I love the decentralized and distributed models, and that's what we're betting on and building for.
I think it's really cool too, and I think it's proven out over the last 100 years or so that with the technology and innovations, people tend to choose the good over the bad, or the good guys can at least keep up with the bad guys and stuff to keep it somewhat balanced. So I really appreciate the time and really cool thoughts there, Paul. Paul Allen from soar.com, the AI studio.